Now we're going to jump into our main topic for this episode, which will be a super crazy and interesting one. And that is about the film that's going viral right now called The Sadness. It became like a Shudder original. It was written and directed by Rob Jabaz, and again, a Taiwanese horror film. And Shudder ended up picking it up. I guess they really liked the film, and they dropped it on Shudder as a Shudder original. But here's a quick synopsis for the movie. As Taiwan succumbs to a viral pandemic that transforms peaceful citizens into sadistic, bloodthirsty maniacs, a young couple must battle to be reunited before they too become infected. So again, it's got the kind of like a zombie vibe to it. These aren't exactly zombies, but how it spreads, this idea of the virus, and can spread through biting and bodily fluids and shit like that. So it has the concept of a zombie film, but it's not quite a zombie film. Right. Now we didn't discuss this before at all, babe. So this will be our first time actually talking about it together. Now that being said, do we want to get into spoilers on this one, or we want to keep it spoiler free?
You always ask this question, and I think I always say we should do spoilers.
Because sometimes it's hard to talk about a movie without getting into some of the spoilers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we should talk about spoilers, especially because it's not like this movie just came out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, there's your spoiler warning, y'all. If you haven't seen the film yet, go watch it. Well, I will warn you though, it is very extreme violence, extreme gore. It's like no joke. It's like Terrifier 2 levels of destruction, and probably in some ways worse. Yeah. Yes, and essay. So just a fair warning, if you're going to watch this film, I think even Shudder puts in the beginning before the movie starts, like a warning label saying this has extreme violence and gore.
Yeah, but that warning label is not sufficient to what is in this movie.
Well, yeah, it's brutal, y'all.
To me, it's not.
It's no joke. So fair warning. So if you want to watch the movie, go watch it, and then you can come back, because we'll be talking about spoilers here. So going once, going twice, that's just spoiler warning. And now we'll get into The Sadness. Now I'll let you start off, babe, just, saying in general what you thought about the movie, and, and then we can get into likes and dislikes and so on.
Okay. Overall thoughts. Okay, overall thoughts. This movie isn't for everyone.
No,
and
it's not.
One of those everyone's is me. This movie is not. I can do. Well, I don't prefer body horror. I've watched, the Human Centipede and all that stuff. But this one is just way too much, and it just hits way too hard. So for me, this is not something I want to ever watch again. Yeah. And I would not tell anyone else to watch it unless that's you're into that type of thing. So
right. Yeah.
For me, this is not something I will ever want to watch again in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually liked it. I actually thought it was really good.
Of course you did.
I thought it was good. Well, I liked extreme gore stuff, man. But sometimes you get movies that, they are extreme for the sake of just being extreme. But at least in this movie, the extremeness actually served the plot, the idea of the movie. It did.
Okay.
You have this virus that, unlocks the really fucked up side of people, the aggression and depravity and sadistic natures. And it's it almost reminds me of since I mentioned The Boys earlier, they talked about when in The Boys, when someone would take that, or they even mentioned it in Falcon the Winter Soldier, right? When someone takes that super serum or whatever that makes them a super being, they just if they're a bad person on the inside, they just that surfaces, it comes to the surface. It enhances who they truly are, and it brings out the worst in them. It's kind of like with this virus too. These people that have this, they got this virus, played into like their dark thoughts and what they really wanted to do, but just brought it to the surface, right? Because think about this,
I'm
right?
gonna disagree with that.
But now check this out. Here's why I think that. Because the girl in that movie was immune. You know what I'm saying? The main character. Now, was it because she didn't have any, like extreme darkness to her, you know what I'm saying, for the virus to really like enhance and pull out their true nature? I'm not saying that's the case for everybody, but it's just something to think about. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a scene in that movie that makes me want to disagree with you, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We can talk about that later.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about the movie.
But I don't know. Like I just thought I did think it was good. I thought it was very cinematic. I thought a lot of the cinematography, just the general camera work, the direction, like was super good. I thought the performances were really good too.
Oh heck yeah! I mean,
yeah.
I was in there like these people is acting the best.
Oh yeah, they did. They came like the people, whoever hired them, like they got their money.
Yeah,
like they showed out. Like they were not playing no games. They were acting like it's the last movie they would ever act in ever. Because this shit was crazy, and the performances were really good. Special effects were crazy. Like these special effects were like some of the best practical effects. I'm assuming that some of it was practical. This is some of the best practical effects I've ever seen. I was like, dang, they went ham with this shit. It looked good. But it was just cool. It was different. I think it's always cool when you get different types of zombie movies. Like, cause you get your slow zombies, you get your like 28 Days Later zombies or your World War Z type zombies. Night of the Living Dead zombies, where like some zombies are smart. Like, so to me, it's just a different type of zombie. You know what I'm saying? This is a super sadistic, like, I'm trying to just be like the worst type of human being ever zombie. And it was super fast paced, like pretty much at all times. Like there was no real like slow moment. There was a couple moments of or you could breathe a little bit, but like it was always boom, 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 boom. Like it was going. And I appreciated that because it kept me always like locked in at all times to see where they're going to take this thing. But yeah, it was crazy, man. Like this junk was wild, but I thought it was good. I liked it. And I'm actually apparently this is Rob Jabaz's first feature-length film because looking at his IMDb, all he did was shorts before this. So I'm like, damn, like this is your first one. Like I'm hyped to see what you're gonna do next because this shit, this is on a different level.
It was definitely on some kind of level.
Yeah, but those are some of the things I really liked about the movie. We can get to the dislikes if you want, babe.
Well, you never asked me what I like.
Oh, what you liked about it, man? I thought you kind of mentioned some of the stuff within your initial.
There's only one thing I liked about this movie.
What was that?
I wrote notes, by the way.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. The only thing I like about this movie is that they did a really good job of making you like root for the main characters, right?
Yeah, they did. I agree.
Even though we spent only like a small amount of time with them before, shit starts popping off, you still kind of felt like you wanted them to win. So I think they did a really good job of making their main characters likable and, wanted to see them make it to the end.
Right.
But I did want to tell you this though. Like I had read an article on iHorror, I think it was, where when they presented this film at Fantastic Fest, which is where they actually won Best Horror Film and Best Horror Director.
Cool.
In 2021. During the Q&A session, according to this article, whoever wrote this was there. During the Q&A session, like people were going ham, like they're like in an uproar about this movie, and like basically were like pissed off about it.
Wow.
Towards like the director and stuff like that. So I thought that was interesting, but people didn't really, vibe with it, I guess, initially. But obviously, this movie is representative of, a pandemic, right? Like
that
how
too.
people react during a pandemic.
Yep.
You got like the bits and pieces of what happens when people are ignoring the information.
Mm-hmm.
They think it's not real. It's a
Yep.
hoax.
Yeah, because they had that messaging in there. Yep, with like
Yeah.
the political aspect of it. Yep.
Right. Exactly. Don't everyone's trying to go back into their old routines again so soon. Even like when the thing happened on the train or the subway, whatever, and how people pulling out their phones and recording everything, like very, very real stuff. And he just amplified it to like 1,000.
Yep. He did. He did.
So, I mean, he did do a good job in artistically expressing this viral pandemic, right? So,
right.
I mean, I got to give him credit for that. But
yeah, absolutely.
It's just the way he went about it. It's just so extreme.
Yeah, it's very extreme.
Yeah, I think that's all I got to really say about what I liked and didn't like about it per se. But, well, obviously I didn't like the essay. I felt like, okay, it's similar how I felt about the essay in Soft and Quiet, where I felt like it wasn't so necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe one or two if you're going to put it in there. But it was like throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, because
I was just like, how many more of these are we going to see? Like, even that, I don't even want to talk about it, but.
Talking about the eye thing?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was just like, did he really do that?
Yeah. That jump was crazy. He did it too.
You was at work when I watched this movie, but I'm gonna tell you, I was literally like audibly gasping. Like, it was so shocking to me. Yeah. I was like, I know he ain't about to do this, and he did.
Yeah, he did it too. But see, I think that's why, like, I do like the extremeness of it, because like the virus, like, basically, like, unlocks the barrier that they have to just act out that shit, right? Because, like, and I was watching, there's this YouTuber, like, he makes the animated cartoons, like the crazy ones, Meat Canyon, and he has a second channel called Papa Meat where he talks about movies, and he talked about this movie, and he mentioned in there, which I agreed with, was like the idea that it amplifies like that the worst in people, especially if it's like kind of already there. And like, for example, that main bad guy, the weird dude from the train, right? Like, he had that moment where he's like kept trying to talk to the girl.
Yeah.
Being super weird about it. And then he got all upset when she was like, I ain't trying to talk to you. He was like calling her a bitch and,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, and then when he got the virus, look at how he acted, right?
That's true.
I'm going to go F this B, and I'm a, do all this crazy S, you know what I'm saying, to her and the other girl. Like, you see what I'm saying? So like, because it's not like everybody was doing that, right? Like, there were some people who were doing like the essay stuff, but it wasn't every single person. Some people were just like cut people up or whatever. And so like, that's why I feel like
I guess the one
plays into that idea.
I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought about the part where the guy, when he came onto the subway and how he had like the tear, like, and I did read other stuff about that part too, because I felt like, oh, well, maybe he doesn't really want to do this.
Right.
He can't control it. So I don't know. So in that situation, it's like, well, obviously he couldn't have been like an evil person to want to kill someone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know.
So there you go.
I see both sides of it, right?
And see, that actually lends credit to what I was saying, right? Is that even because think about it, right? Think about how the dude acted when he was doing all the crazy stuff. He was super hyped about it. Like, he was like, oh, this is the best I've ever felt. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if that dude had the tear, was that his, like, that other side of him was still very strong. He didn't really want to do it. But these people that are already have that super negative aspect within them, once that barrier is gone, they're like, oh, this is the greatest ever.
Okay.
And that's how the business dude, that's how the villain dude was acting, was like, he was just loving it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was.
See what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like that's what the virus did. the people that were already had like really negative stuff about them, it just enhanced it and like took that barrier away, and now they just going ham.
Yeah.
And fully like are just, you know, going all out. Like it is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But like I feel like it makes sense in that way when you're talking about like, you know, especially in today's society too, like people doing so much crazy shit and having all these mental issues. Like I think, you know, the film has some commentary about that too. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's a lot of, I feel like it's a lot of different things with that, but I feel like it worked though.
I guess.
Yeah.
I knew things was going left when that girl jumped off the roof and the camera didn't cut away.
Oh
and
yeah,
then
did not cut away.
Just bounced. I was like, what this man got me watching?
Yeah, and it was crazy, man. Like when that dude was stabbing him in the cafe, he was going ham. I was like, I ain't never seen a stabbing like this in the movie. Like, that joke's crazy. They got creative now. They got creative with the effects.
When the dude on the train stabbed that one dude in the neck, and big
that was hilarious.
Of blood.
That was super cartoony. I thought it was funny. I thought that part was funny.
That much blood.
Yeah. And they
it's like satire, you know.
Yeah, so. Sometimes it was super over the top, like when the dude, when that weird nerdy dude was getting cut by the girl with the saw in the hospital. Remember how much blood was spraying on that one? Like it was a crazy amount of blood. Like
it was a lot.
Everything. I was like, they took it super over the top.
Right.
So yeah, sometimes it's like so over the top that it's comical, like kind of like Terrifier 2 sometimes. Like Terrifier 2, like it was so over the top sometimes that it was almost funny because it was so ridiculous. And so this movie has some moments, like very few, you know what I'm saying, but some. Going into dislikes, I feel like the only thing I didn't really like was the ending. That's about the only thing I didn't like the ending
either. Yeah. And I was like, what the heck? It didn't feel like an ending.
And because here's a couple things I didn't like. Like one, I didn't understand how long it would take for the virus to take effect, because the boyfriend ended up becoming infected. But like,
which broke my heart. I was
that was super sad. But I guess the movie was trying to be very realistic, you know.
It's like, come on, Jim. He only had a little bit further to go.
Oh, he was so close. But I'm saying, like, it was a pretty big amount of time between his last interaction with anybody that was infected to that point.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, why does it take so long for him to get infected? Because some of these people look like they get infected instantly.
Yeah.
So I didn't really understand that piece, because I was like, well, how did he get infected? And it's been that much time. And then he had that weird moment where he like saw that body in the water. I didn't really get what that was. Maybe it was just the infection taking over and he's like seeing stuff. I don't know. But it was like at that point when he kind of turned was when he saw that weird demon looking thing in the water.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the idea of it being realistic in the sense of like, well, not everybody makes it. But I don't know. I think it would have been more fun if they would have made it and then got out. And I feel like the movie also implied that the girlfriend didn't make it either.
She didn't.
She got shot.
She got shot. But did it seem like she was turning at the end to you?
Like how she was responding to him?
Because because it seemed like she was crying, but then it started seeming like she was laughing.
I gotta go back and watch it.
And then she ran out, and then she got shot.
Ooh, okay, see what you're saying. So like she wasn't actually immune.
Because that's how it seemed to me. I was like, is she turning? And I thought she was gonna get, I thought they were gonna take her or whatever. Whoever was coming on the helicopter, I thought they were gonna take her and she was gonna infect some other people, but obviously that didn't happen. But it appeared to me as though she was actually changing, because during that interaction, she seemed like she was upset, but then all of a sudden it seemed like she was crying.
Right.
I mean, not laughing. It seemed like she was laughing. And then she ran out. And, even her body changed when she walked through the door. Like, she, stood up straight.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I remember that part. Yeah, she did do that. Yep.
Yeah.
I just thought she was pausing for a moment to look out there, but maybe you're right. Maybe she was like fully turned by that point, and so they shot her.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Okay, that actually makes sense. I'm gonna go watch that part again because I don't remember I can't remember her laughing. But that's actually a good point, bro. Yep.
But yeah, it was sad. No, I don't like movies without happy
Yeah.
actors.
Yeah, I know you
and
don't.
So when Jim came through that door, I was like, ah!
Yep. Yep. And he was talking super crazy when they were in between that gate.
Yeah,
he was
completely it seemed like he was normal for a second, then all of a sudden he's like, I want to peel your skin off and all this carrying on.
Cut stuff off and all this stuff. Yeah. I was like, oh, nah, he go. I thought they might, because at first I thought they might do something like that, where it's like, oh, maybe like they might go with like an angle of like, like love can overcome it type of thing. And they were like, nah, we're not going there. Yeah. They took it left and just stayed left. They never brought it back. they never brought it back ever.
No. I see. I had something else that I had wrote down.
What you got, bro?
What was it? Oh yeah. This is in regards to the essay because that hit me the most.
Right. That is very. I will say they don't ever actually show it. A lot of it's
that's what I was
implied.
Say.
A lot of it's implied. So you're filling in the gap with your mind. Yeah.
Yep. You took my point because I had read some posts about how people compared it to the Serbian film, but that's what makes it that movie because it's not. It's like suggested, but you don't actually like see. So
it's not a film you actually see.
Yeah, so that is not like that at all.
Yep.
It's just a lot of it.
Right.
It's just like, oh, you thought we weren't gonna put no more in here? Here we go.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I did want to point that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, the gore was gorying in this
yeah, the gore was
like
crazy.
Ripping the skin, like
yeah. Even the effects of push people's eyes in, like the eye gouging and like this. Just, oh man, remember the dude's face that was at the basketball court?
Oh yes, that joke was like so huge.
The effects were I'm telling you, man, the effects of this movie was crazy. Like this should win an award if it didn't for
it was definitely
the best effects. Because I was like, these effects are. I don't know what the budget for the movie was, but these effects were on point. I will say though, he did make me laugh, and he was like, "Why'd you scare him off?" Like,
I was about to bust.
Yeah. I laughed at that part. I thought.
Of course, you laughed. Yeah. I was just like, "What the heck is going on?"
Completely lost his mind. No,
it's just terrible.
Yeah, but that's the sadness. It's crazy. Well, any final thoughts on it, baby?
Final thoughts: don't watch this movie.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I think what threw me off is that you presented to me as a zombie movie. You said it was gory, but in my mind, I'm thinking like, regular zombie movies are gory. Yeah. And so, because I trusted you.
Well, I mean, technically it's a zombie movie.
I didn't expect it to be like it was.
Yeah.
I think I texted you. When you was at work. I was like, I'm so mad at you right now.
No, I know.
It stressed me out.
Yeah, I know. But it is a zombie movie. Like it's just a different kind. It's just a different type. It's a different type of zombie. And these zombies are, because it still spreads the same way. But these zombies are just crazy as hell. But you're right. This movie is not for everybody. And you got to be able to put up with extreme violence, extreme gore, and implied essay. You got to be able to put up with all of that. But I do think the movie is very well made. Like, it looks great. It was shot great. The effects are incredible. The music, I actually really like the music too. There were some moments when the music was hidden. I was like, damn, especially in the beginning when they had a little like CG thing with the virus. Like, that music was fire.
Mm-hmm. That whole first intro part up to the title card. Yeah, that was legit.
Was hard. So the dude that made the music, he made some good music too. But yeah, that's our thoughts, y'all, on the sadness. If you do want to watch it and you do think you can get through it, it's on Shudder. Again, called The Sadness. Check it out. It is Taiwanese film, so you will have to throw on the subtitles if you don't speak the language. But honestly, it's not too bad. Like, there's an insane amount of dialogue, so you can kind of you won't miss anything because the subtitles are going too fast or anything like that. Because sometimes you do watch movies where like, especially like those mystery, like detective movies or something, like from a foreign country, where they're talking really fast, and you're like, you got to pause to keep up with the subtitles. But yeah, go check it out if you're interested. But fair warning, like it is a lot. So just make sure that you're prepared, and we don't say we didn't warn you if you do go into watching The Sadness. But if you've seen it, let us know in the comments what you thought about it. I am curious to see what others are thinking about it. I've seen good comments and I've seen negative comments, so I'm curious of what y'all, our listeners, are thinking about The Sadness. So let us know in the comments.